take a look at some of the things that we have. Based on some of the videos that I posted, you should have a pretty clear idea of what climate is. And we want to talk a little bit about climatic regions. And yeah, there's all sorts of things. We're looking at the long-term characteristics of the temperature and the moisture. And so, yeah, there's air pressure and everything else like that. But the two things that we're really going to be looking at a lot is going to be the temperature of different locations and the amount of precipitation. So, yeah, I mean, air masses and air pressure and everything else like that's good to know. But temperature and precipitation. Now, there were two pretty smart scientists, a German guy by the name of Koppen, I guess with the two little dots there, it's Koppen. Anyway, he and one of his grad students later took over the work, went through, and they figured out the geography of climates, really. And they organized them by letters, A, B, C, D, and E. People will sometimes add the H. We'll talk about that in just a second. So what are these? Well, basically, we're starting at the equator with our tropical climates. And then we move outside of the equator. We get that subtropical high pressure system. That subtropical high pressure system is going to be causing deserts. So we have our tropical areas, our arid and semi-arid areas, our middle temperature or mesothermal climates, our cold climates or our snowy climates, and our E climates. Those are going to be polar, right? So going equator to the pole, A, B, C, D, and E. And then we have these these Highland climates. These are areas that are going to be very, very cold, but they're cold because of elevation and not necessarily because of because of latitude. So elevation, not latitude, is why those guys are cold. Now, please read this stuff because it's good. 4 of them are based on their overall average temperatures. A, not B, C, D, and E. They're all based on these temperature ranges. So if it's really hot, probably an A. And if it's going to be cooler, then it's going to be a C, D, and E. Now, B is funky. B is one that's based on this relationship to precipitation to evaporation. And so we're going to need to play around a little bit with that, and I'm trying not to get ourselves too wound up with that. Now, when we're looking at these climates, we use these letters, and then there's other letters as well. Okay. And so for our desert climates, you might have a semi-arid or what's called a steppe climate, like you're stepping just outside of the desert. So it would be capital B and capital S. Yeah, I know. I always think the same thing. Okay, or if it's a desert, then it would be a capital B and a capital W. Cool. Well, for our A, B, C, some of those other climates, we get other subcategories as well. They're always moist. There's always a lot of precipitation. There's no dry season. Though it would be for the A or the C or the D groups. If it were dry in the winter, and this is going to, again, be for those different groups, then it would be W. If it's dry in the summer, then it would have a little S. If it's a rainforest, then it would be an M. Then there's like a third little letter that we can get in. Okay? And we'll make sense of this in just a moment, but you've got the lowercase a, b, c, d. Those are going to be like the specifics about the temperature range. Okay? We have H and our K. That's going to be specific to our desert regions as well. So you can have, for example, a BSK or BSH. What does it all look like? Well, that's where table 11.1 comes in to help us out. So for our A climates, we have AF, AM, and AW. What does it all mean? Well, okay, if we have an A, it's going to be really, really hot. A climate is going to be tropic, and an A lowercase f means that it's moist. Okay, so that would be like a tropical rainforest. There we go. Okay, so AM, AW, and then we have our 4 different arid climates. Those are our B climates. And then we have our mesothermal, mid-temperatures. So these are tropic. These are mid-latitude. These are going to be microthermal. So colder, these are going to be our polar regions, right? And so all of these different letters, and then it talks about what they all mean, and that all looks great. So what do we need to do about that? Well, I would like you guys to go through and fill out our little chart. And what I try to do with this guy is organize it so that our colder environments are at the top, our hotter environments are at the bottom, the drier climates are to the left, the wetter climates are to the right. That kind of works as we go through this. So our EF, ET, EM, just look up EF, EM, and EM, ET. Yes, these guys, and put them dum dum dum. The H is the Highland climate, beautiful. And so there we go. Our different arid climates, our microthermal, our mesothermal, our C's, and then our tropical climates are going to be the hottest. Yeah, that makes sense. For this guy, I don't know, I did a typo. And so instead of CWA, CWB, there is no CWB up here. So that should be CWA and CFA. So anyway, just fill in all the climate names. That would be the descriptive climate name for each one of those. Perfect. And then there are questions about each one of these.